Uh, and we needed 3 other people to, to pay the bills. But I don't know why he would rent it to us, but he did. Anyway, we had a gathering of our friends. There was my roommate, my lease mate, Karen. She was a Canadian. A Canadian. How did I find a Canadian? Anyway. And are there any Canadians here?
Not that they'll admit to it.
Yeah. This reminds me. There's a picture I have of Martok in a golf cart on the Paramount lot, and it's my favorite picture because I've got Martok's full head on, but I have a black T-shirt and shorts, and on the golf cart, and I'm smiling. But I was driving to get to the commissary because I had a break between scenes, and a guy stopped me and said, "Oh, John, JG, would you mind talking to a tour group? Just saying hello." I said, "No, it's fine, absolutely." So I did. I said, I started talking, and I was talking to them. Somebody mentioned I had my Klingon teeth in, and they said something about my teeth. I said, "Well, yeah, you get used to them, but they're not as bad as like." Well, English teeth. Are there any? Are there any English people here? And half the 30 people raised their hands, and I said, "Oh, well, at least you're not, one of those frogs from France." Wait. Are there any French people here? The other half of the tour. That is absolute truth. I couldn't have made that up. I said, "Goodbye." Mr. Funny, Mr.
Oh my
Joke.
God.
For what it's worth, I think the first half probably agreed with you.
Well, each of them agreed with what I said about the other.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, what was I talking about before that?
Your 50 years.
50
Your book.
years, yeah,
And your
there was
most
something.
embarrassing?
Oh, yeah, no, right
Karen.
across. What?
No, Karen, your roommate.
Karen, I wasn't talking about her. Oh, sorry, got off. We had a party, sort of a dinner party. It wasn't a party. We'd often get together and all eat it in the kitchen, and it was great. And invited a guy named, a friend of Ed Coran, was one of our roommates, and Retta, Rhetta. Ed and I never liked her. Thank you.
Your mama.
And Retta, and somebody else, but also we invited a guy who was a friend of Ed Coran's named Colonel Higa. He wasn't a colonel, and his name wasn't Higa. But besides that, he was a frequent visitor. So we got stoned, and
heaven forbid.
after dinner, and we all became enraged about the rats in the neighborhood in D.C. There's a lot. I don't mean the senators or Congress, but we couldn't stand it anymore. So we're going to drive the rats out of our neighborhood.
Uh-oh.
So we armed ourselves. I'm sorry for, it's terrible now that I think about it, but what the hell did I know at 23? With a brick in one hand and a stick in the other. And we'd smack the trash can to lining the street. Boom. And the rats would come flying out. At which we threw the brick to try to end them. And we got a few. But being in the mental condition we were, it was thrilling beyond belief.
And funny, I'm
Sure,
sure.
it was terrifying.
It was, to the rats, it was terrifying, yeah. But I said, here's what we're gonna do. I said, there was a grass strip between the sidewalk and the street, and we're gonna bury a few of those rats on that grass strip with their tails in the air. as a warning to other rats. They are not wanted here. I actually did this, and I'm sorry. It's Confessions of a Klingon Linebacker. But across the street was a woman named Dallas Pell, and she was the daughter of Senator Claiborne Pell from Rhode Island, one of the wealthiest old Brahmin families in New England. Did I know that? No. Did I really care or understand what the word Brahmin meant? No. But it's old money in New England. I should have figured out when I said, where did you live? She said, oh, it's just an area called Pelican Ridge. Oh, well, it's one of the most unbelievable areas of Rhode Island, on the coast, up above, looking out at the Atlantic. And we started dating. I was there for a year and never thought of each other. She had a dog that was the size of a small horse. It was a Commodore. Anybody knows what Commodores are? These dogs, they look exactly like sheep, except they're larger. They have sheep-like matted hair, and they are used as sheepdogs.
Yeah, the dread.
Yeah, the dreads. They look like dreads. Yeah.
We just had one in the dog show.
It's a beautiful and brilliant dog. Didn't bark, but if anybody came near Dallas, it would attack and wouldn't let you know it was coming. You know. So I never crossed that dog. I don't remember his name. Commander. I just called him Commander. But she would take him everywhere, and I realized only 30 or 40 years later that was her security escort. That dog was her private security. And anyway, I got a job as a sailor. What was the name? Stefanowski in what's the Navy picture from World War II that Henry Fonda was in with I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Mr. Roberts.
Yeah,
Mr.
Roberts.
Yeah, Mr. Roberts.
There you go.
What's the name? What am I thinking of? Not James M.
James
Cohen,
Cagney.
but Jamie Cagney was the captain in the movie. Henry Fonda was the lieutenant who wanted to get off the ship, and he was like Captain Bligh. And anyway, we were doing Mr. Roberts down there, and I had a great. Do you ever see the Dune the movie?
Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Shame they only did the first one.
in America, in highborn England and America, we say Dune. It's a liquid Dune. We don't say Dune. It's very, very, very low rent. Forgive me, but calling a spade as they see him. Dune. All my life I've said Dune, but then I realized, in fact, anyway. The guy who played the Harkonnen father,
Vladimir.
the guy that would like float, he was so,
Baron
immense.
Harkonnen.
Do you know who I mean?
That actor, yeah. I'm trying to think of his
His
name.
name was
Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, played by.
Macmillan,
God, I just saw him on
James,
Murder, She Wrote too.
what?
Oh, I seen that one
Yeah.
not too long ago.
Yeah.
Kenneth Macmillan.
That's it.
And he was the captain of this, in the production that I did down in a theater, a Wayside Theater in Middletown, Virginia. He was playing the captain, the Jimmy Cagney role. And I was Stefanowski, almost a nameless character, but having a wonderful time. Those are the most fun roles. You don't have any lines, and you can really do anything you want. So basically, I'm really a child.
He said to the adults dressed up in Klingon outfits. It's Halloween every day.
Every day. And so I got cast in this summer stock theater, and I'd never done, it was an equity union theater, and I'd never worked any union job yet. I was still working for the government. When I first moved to DC and living in that house, but then when I quit the government, which is a whole other story, I started doing theater. And anyway, I was down there as a cast, and Dallas, the Claiborne Pell's daughter, said, "I'd like to come down and see the show." She had one of those old Bavaria BMWs, you know, that they used to race them a lot.
Yeah,
The
it looked
Bavaria.
like a little soapbox.
It was
kind of
really
thing.
strange, yeah. Anyway, so she did, and I said, "Oh, I got to get her a room somewhere in a hotel with that giant dog. What am I going to do?" So the only place I could find that had that animals were accepted in was this flea bag motel well outside of the place. So I booked her into that, and she came to see the show and went back to her. I drove her back there actually, and I never saw her again after that. Then I knew, stupid me. But that's one of the confessions I make of my own stupidity. And that's when Dallas Pell might sue me about. And her father, bless him, he's the guy who began the Pell Grants. You know what the Pell Grants are?
Yes.
That's him,
wow.
Claiborne Pell.
Yes, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pepper.
Yeah, but I treated his daughter like shit, and yeah, that's what I said. Oh, that damn dog. Blame it on the dog. Anyway,
I got a question for you.
yeah.
Has nothing to do with Star Trek. As an actor, what do you prefer? Theater, stage, theater, stage, or screen, or TV?
They're the same to me. I always had a problem with the sound people on Zorro and on DS9. They would say, "You're too loud. You're too loud." I said, "I'm a stage actor. I've been pumping out volume at Lake Tahoe to go get my voice over the sound of the waves and over the mountains so that people could hear me with no mics. I just can't get quiet anymore, you know." But it's tough. They all have their drawbacks and their advantages. It's film is the easiest.
Yeah.
Because they take forever to shoot anything. So you're there forever, and they pay you substantial amount of money if it's comparatively, and to sit and eat food and drink coffee, and but television is just the opposite. It's like you cannot waste a dime. Do not waste a moment. Do not make a mistake while you're talking. Do not do that, because every time you make a mistake, they have to go cut, reset, go back to ones. Okay, ready, action. That means 30 or 40 people have to readjust, stop what they're doing, go back to wherever. And that all takes time, and that means money. Each episode of DS9 was $2.5 million.
Oh my God.
Each episode. It was stunning to me.
Cleopatra in the 60s.
Jeez.
Oh, Cleopatra was far beyond the stars. Was far less because the money was different then. It was the famous. Then there was the one in Nebraska. It was that big controversial film that Michael Cimino did. Heaven's Gate.
Oh,
Everybody, it was like, oh, they wasted money. They spent millions and millions on that, and look what they got. I sort of liked the film, but yeah. So I know it didn't answer your question. So the only measuring thing I could use is television paid me, and stage often didn't. It did some, but even when I was in a show on Broadway, and the guy, there was another man in the show. It was a Greek play, and anybody remember an actress named? Do I remember an actress named? Just went out of my head. Famous Greek actress. She was in Guns of Navarone.
Leslie Burr.
Oh,
I can't believe this.
I think I know what you mean, but I can't think of her name either.
No. She was Greek, strongly Greek. Anyway, she played my mother in this on Broadway, and it was a terrible production.
Gia Scala?
Gia Scala.
Scala.
No. What did you say?
Gia Scala?
Gia.
What's that first name?
Gia.
Gia. No.
Or Irene Pappas.
Irene Papa. Irene Pappas. Yeah.
Greek actress and singer.
Yeah. Irene Papa. Michael Kokianos was the director, a Greek maniac, who had done Zorba the Greek. He was famous for that film. So he had a lot of cachet. Is that the word? About him.
I don't know. It's all Greek to me.
Thank you very much.
But I'm from.
Oh, you can't sit there. Sit here. Sit there.
You were
Yeah,
commanded. Do
hopefully
as you
it
told.
I
Any
recognize
questions?
that's.
Pardon?
Any questions?
I'm excited to be here.
No,
I don't know.
Where are
I
you
don't have
from?
any question. I'm originally from here for 30 years, and then I've been living 20 years in Texas.
Texas, whereabouts?
League City, which is north of Galveston, south of Houston.
I've been to Galveston, been to Houston. In fact, my best friend in college, I played football in college and at Bucknell, and my best friend's father was a major heart surgeon at the DeBakey Institute in Houston. And at one point he said, let's go to Galveston for spring break.
Yeah.
4 or 5 football players in a Pinto
Oh my God.
driving to Galveston. And they were all, I was the littlest. I was about 220. George was 270. Stan was 245. And we were all about the same height, a little bit taller than me, Stan was. Stan Durtan was a big